Good evening, Crime Crunchies. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. I am your host, Courtney C., a 27-year veteran of the media, and I'm so happy to now be able to bring you Crime Crunchies. Happy Saturday night, everybody. Wow, wow, wow. Well, you know what? Pima County Sheriff's Department has made the map, the global map. Maybe not for all the best reasons, but nonetheless, if Sheriff Nanos wanted his 15 minutes of fame, he's got it. Because as we speak, there has been a manhunt going on in Tucson for three gentlemen, possibly four, maybe more, that are involved in a unfortunate shooting of a 30-year-old Pima County Corrections officer and unaliving him, and a shooting of his fiance, who unfortunately was 31 weeks pregnant. She is reportedly going to be okay, and the unborn baby's okay, and there was a child in the home that they share, and that child is going to be okay. And yes, Miss Lisa, they have arrested one of them, so this is good news. But what's the connection of all this? Why am I talking about all of this? Well, there's a couple little fingers that are coming out. This one's got little legs that I thought, you know what, let's talk about this. All right, and first of all, let me just, I like to always start the show. We have to thank our beautiful mod, Lisa at Crime After Dark HQ. She does a really good job keeping all of you hooligans unhooligizing. That's not a word, but it is now. And yes, she has rage, rage and violence that she will perpetrate against anyone who's just going off in the chat. Okay. Please make sure that you go and check out her channel at Crime After Dark HQ on the YouTube, and you have to subscribe. She's been, getting busy with her shows too, and we want to support all of our co-creators. I love it. I love it. And in the description down below, there is a link to buy her a coffee. And you know what? We had Joan last night was so generous and bought Miss Lisa a coffee, and that is just makes my little heart just soar. It's so nice. Yes, I do make you sound violent, Lisa, because you know what, you're at home taking care of your mom and your animals, and that's just what I'm going to do. So also, I'm not going to forget, I've forgotten the last two times. I wrote a sticky note. At the end of the show tonight, I am going to give away free memberships, 5 free memberships. And I've forgotten the last 2 nights. I don't want to forget again. I have a little sticky note, but somebody feel free to yell at me when I'm starting to simmer down at the end and say, Courtney, you're supposed to give stuff away. And you know what? I think that I would like to give away 5 free memberships like every couple weeks. I don't think you guys realize truly how much I appreciate you being here. I mean, seriously, this is like, I look forward to hanging out with you guys. I don't feel any pressure. I could be myself. You guys let me be myself. You guys feel it. Yes, we are crunchy kids. So let's dig in. Let me share my screen. And this is your chance. If you have not subscribed, what the heck? Are you kidding me? That's just weird if you have not subscribed. I can't believe it if you haven't. But now's your chance. You can. It's free. Hit the bell. Hit the like. It's just what we do. All right. So my topic tonight is, this man may make Savannah's wish for YouTubers to stop talking about Nancy come true. And as we all know, we've gone over the Instagram post a few times. And in it, Savannah, who we genuinely understand, hurt people. And that's just how it is. Okay. If you've ever had trauma, it's easiest to be angry. It's the easiest emotion to deal with and go to. And Banana Grana, what is that? I love that, Banana. Subscribed, I'm new here. Well, welcome, Banana Grana. Yeah, Banana Grana. Hi, Grace Cal. I love it. I love seeing some new names. You are so welcome. We are the Cool Kids Club. Hi, DLL. At any point, are you going to finish the topic from last night? I feel like you had to stop short and you had more to say. You know what? I did stop short, and I'm going to tell you 100% exactly why. Because my dear friend Boomer Investigates was going live, and let's talk about these shows, okay? The interview room goes live like Sunday night and like Wednesday nights or something. It's hard to keep track. Sometimes they do more. Thornbridge X Unfiltered goes live at 7 p.m. on Tuesday nights, and tonight, Saturday night at 7 p.m. And so I go live typically 5 days a week at about 5:30. Monday through Friday, it's always at 5:30. I go live. And then on the weekends, I'm a little bit more loosey-goosey. I work a full-time job, so I can't go any earlier than that. And I'm trying to avoid other people's time windows. And Boomer, who is a friend of the show, we have spoken because he wants to go live, and we want to try to figure out how to get him live where we're not stepping on each other, because our audience is sometimes the same. So last night I knew he was going live. I had kind of been sucking up all the good time slots lately, and I wanted to stop so he could get everybody's full attention. So let's do this. I will finish my my analysis tomorrow. Is that fair? Because you're right. I probably did have more sarcastic comments to make. But the point here is when I say I'm a huge supporter of creators, I'm a huge supporter. I mean, I want everybody, and I think we're working on a Patriot Pride Thornbridge X Crime Crunchies panel. I got to reach out to everybody and get that scheduled. Thank you, Banana Grana, for the jewels bling bling. So, yes, we have a lot more stuff coming up, you guys. A lot more stuff. And I think I've going to simulcast with Boomer again, hopefully next week. So, all right, so let's dig in. So, here's this man. And I've got Chad pulled up, which is what I call Chat GPT. And today I laid down for a little bit. It's my weekend. I don't have baby Crunchy this weekend. And I had 857 Tucson was starting to go live, and he's driving around because there's an active homicide manhunt in Pima County. And this is just dreadful. So let's talk about what's going on, because it does tie in to Nancy Guthrie today. Oh my goodness, look at this, you guys. True BU, thank you so much for joining. You are a cool kid. And you know what? For anyone who's a new member, if you don't know, the first of every month, I do a spinning wheel, and I give away for member appreciation the first of every month a $20 Amazon or Walmart gift card. You get to choose. You just shoot me an email. I email it back to you. I don't need your address. I don't need any secret info. And yes, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, TrueBU, for your support. Okay, so let's talk about this, and then I'm going to get into how I'm going to weave it all together. Gather around, children. Gather around. We're all from the 1900s. Let's gather around. So, Pima County Sheriff are in the middle of a manhunt right now. Can you tell me more about the situation? So let's talk about it. So yes, this is a major active homicide manhunt, and it has an unusual connection to the Pima County Sheriff's Department itself, because both victims had ties to law enforcement. So Wednesday, August 19th, today's August 22nd, at 6 a.m., Pima County deputies responded to a home in the 7700 block of South Enchanted Spring Drive in the Star Valley area southwest of Tucson. Inside, they found 23-year-old Carlos Ramirez shot to death. Carlos had previously worked as a Pima County Corrections officer and was reportedly only days away from completing the police academy to become a Tucson police officer. So, you know, they're hitting it hard, because this is one of their own. Ramirez's 23-year-old fiance was also shot. She is a current Pima County Corrections officer and, according to local reporting, pregnant. 31 weeks pregnant. Their child was reportedly inside the residence during the attack. I can tell you that the female is going to be okay. She's in stable condition. The 31-week fetus is okay, and their child. Banana Grana, what the heck? You are hitting it hard, girl. You're hitting it hard. I love you, Banana Grana. Yeah. I love you so much. Thank you so much for becoming a new member. Woohoo! Look at you. Oh, Wolf Moon. I love it. Hello, my friends. Hello. So the child is okay. At least these dicks did not hurt this child. And they did shoot the woman who's pregnant, probably clearly pregnant. So what, these people are animals, animals, just sick. So who they're hunting, the primary publicly identified suspect is 33-year-old Alex James Barnett. And as of right now, he is still on the loose. PCSD obtained a first-degree murder arrest warrant for Barnett. Authorities have warned he should be considered armed and dangerous. A statewide blue alert was issued Thursday night. And I'm wondering if blue alert means that is someone involved in a shooting of an officer. I'm guessing it is. This is bigger than Barnett, though. Investigators released surveillance footage showing 3 men they believe were involved, and Sheriff Chris Nanos has specifically said investigators don't know yet whether there could have been 4, 5, or even 6 people involved. This is a big deal. This is a lot of baddies going after this corrections officer who's going to be joining the police force in Tucson. And my first thought is this retaliation of like guys coming out of the clink, retaliating against, a corrections officer who gave them a hard time? I don't know, but we'll find out. One of the 3 suspects has now been reportedly arrested today, August 22nd, but the manhunt remains active. And the person who was arrested today, Chad is referring to him as Shell Guy, because he was seen on camera footage in a Shell station. So he's Shell Guy. Now we're just doing guy to everything. So Shell Guy, and Shell Guy does match some of the physical traits of Porch Guy. So is Shell Guy maybe Porch Guy? I mean, these people clearly, I don't know. It's awful, but they are run-of-the-mill scumbags, craft eccentricity. And no, we're not removing our focus from Nancy. I am not switching just because this is in Tucson. I'm just talking about it because there's a couple angles I wanted to mention, okay? We're all Nancy all the time, all right? So the timeline is particularly interesting. Investigators say surveillance footage places Barnett and another unidentified man at the Shell station at 5405 West Valencia Road at approximately 5:20 a.m. So again, these are criminals who are just up and at 'em, you guys, before the rooster crows. They're early birds. That's only about 40 minutes before deputies were called to the murder scene, and the gas station is reportedly roughly 3 miles from the home. Then at approximately 10:50 a.m., surveillance footage captured a third unidentified suspect exiting the vehicle believed to have been involved near South Palo Verde Road and East 33rd Street. So police subsequently recovered the suspected getaway vehicle. It's funny how when you've got a blue alert, they're able to get their man. Just saying. So the preliminary sequence looks roughly like 5:20 a.m., Barnett plus suspect number 2 at Shell Station. And apparently, I thought maybe Ramirez was seen there, but let's keep reading. 6 a.m., Ramirez and his fiance discovered shot. 10:50 a.m., suspect number 3 seen leaving suspected vehicle, later vehicle recovered. August 20th, first-degree murder warrant, blue alert out for Barnett. August 21st through 22nd, today, massive effort to locate Barnett and identify the others, and they have arrested number 2. So, what was the motive? Well, let's just check in with the country's America's Sheriff Nanos, because he has control of the situation and he's going to do a fine job. America's Sheriff Chris Nanos, told KOLD that at this point, he believes robbery may have been the motive, although he emphasized that investigators will ultimately determine that. Is this Nanos telling people things that he doesn't know is true? And then everyone's going to go with robbery? He also said he did not yet know whether Ramirez and his fiancee were specifically targeted. If this is just a random home invasion robbery versus a deliberately targeted attack on 2 people connected to PCSD, I mean, why are they doing this in the morning? It just seems like, I just can't imagine that 4, 5, or 6 people are involved in a robbery of 2 23-year-olds. Now, I don't know about you, but I have, that's younger than my children. And I can tell you right now, I could go into any one of my children's homes that are older than that and not find anything worth robbing. I think my daughter-in-law has a KitchenAid mixer that I had gifted to her during her bridal shower before they got married 10 years ago. And she doesn't use it. And so I might steal that back because mine burned in the fire. But I am not going to find anything else in their home other than the children. I would rob my grandchildren. I would take my beautiful little granddaughters. I would steal them. Okay. And yes. But yeah, 2 23-year-olds, there's nothing to steal. I have to think that this has to be some kind of retaliation against correction officers. You know, these people maybe were in the clink, or maybe there's someone in the clink and these guys are part of a club. And maybe someone said, hey, go get Ramirez. Go get him. That seems more likely. But again, who knows? Okay, so you know what? This is, if anybody needs to know who this person, Mopar Polak 6242, comments all the time and talks about Dinky, and your kids must be low income if they have nothing to steal. This is my husband. This is Mr. Crunchy. And he always puts some little comment in here. And Dinky Dunbar was a dog we had. And Dinky is in Dinky heaven. And so, yeah, Mopar Polak, he likes old classic Mopars. And yes, don't get upset, Jet Set. He's just being sarcastic. These are, how about their regular kids? They are regular kids starting out, yes. And there is nothing to steal. And this is my husband being silly. And Elizabeth, didn't someone die recently at the jail? An inmate could be linked to that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally. And those people talk. They still keep in touch on the outside. Okay. So we don't know what the motive is exactly. And Wolf Moon, thank you for the comment. I don't think this crime is related to NG. No, I don't believe it is either. But again, I'm going to connect it in 2 places. So, speculation. So the distinction could be Barnett's background. So we're just going to learn a little bit about them. Okay. Barnett reportedly has a substantial criminal record. Local reporting lists prior convictions involving burglary, vehicle theft, weapons misconduct, identity theft, and unlawful imprisonment, which is kidnapping. basically. Okay. If you hold someone against their will, that's unlawful imprisonment, even in a car, a room, whatever. It's like what happened with Miss Lisa. If you guys are curious, our moderator, beautiful Lisa, was kidnapped as a child for money. Her father was a grocery store manager, and 4 men were involved. She was a young, cute little child in the early 70s. So there's an entire episode if you want to check it out. We did it she came on the show and she talked about her kidnapping, and she talks about on her channel. And I was very interested in interviewing her because her kidnapping was probably more like what a real kidnapping is, as opposed to Nancy's kidnapping, which wasn't really a proper kidnapping. And you know what? If you're going to do something, just do it right. Okay. So, sorry, I have allergies and a cat hair. All right. So he was recently released from prison in November 2025 after serving time for unlawful imprisonment. So Barnett is 6'2", 315 pounds, and he rides a hog. All right. So, and yes, there's already a Nancy Guthrie angle. Just be cool, everyone. Just be cool. You tell Mr. Crunchy to go in a corner for not giving his kids more. No peanut butter for him. Exactly. Ripping it from his rat claws. All right. So everyone's, of course, so this is what everybody's doing. All right. It's like these guys are bad dudes. Are they linked to Nancy Guthrie at all? Because now, remember, nobody even knew where Pima County was, let alone what the whole deal was in Pima County, that it was Tucson. And then now they're on a global scale. Everyone's following everything in Pima County. All right. So the minute we see some bad guys, we're all, because here's the deal. We're all hopeful. We want to find this guy. And chances are anybody who would take beautiful Nancy out of her home and hurt her like they did is a piece of crap and is probably doing other things. Okay. So it isn't necessarily Barnett, who is the guy in the beard in my thumbnail. It's the guy that's walking into the store that has people's attention. And let me just pull it up on this other screen. Let me change my screen. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, let me make myself smaller. Smaller. And let me make this guy bigger. Bigger. So this is camera footage from a gas station. And this is suspect number 2. I don't know that I need to go big. You guys have probably already seen this. You've probably seen him walking in. And here's the thing. This guy, he looks a little leaner, but I mean, he is the right proportions to porch guy. And so that's what people have been asking, looking at these people and wondering, could any of these guys be porch guys? So he's got the brown hair. He's got the, the little beard thing going on, the eyebrows. He's the right height. He looks a little leaner. And I mean, honestly, chances are this guy is not porch guy. All right. I'm just going to be real. I'm not going to just make stuff up. But apparently people have really zoned in on this guy. And so let's go back to Chad. And Chad, I asked Chad to compare the 3 suspects that are known. All right. And of course, Alex James Barnett, the main dude, is 6'2", 315, has kind of a reddish beard. And so you can see Chad making some comparisons. The red dot means green dot means good, yellow dot means no. But then we get down to the shell man, shell guy. And, again, people suspect that porch guy probably has some layers on to keep that DNA just wrapped up inside his little body. And many people have suggested he has on a couple layers of gloves. And we are going to be taking a look at those Kraft eccentricity, because Kraft emailed me right before we went live and sent me some things that she noticed. So we're going to look at that in just a minute about porch guy's hands. But this person, shell guy, described him as having short dark hair, short beard, tattoos on arms and legs, comparatively lean, average build. I think porch guy seems more of a medium build. But again, if this guy's got on a couple layers, who knows? Black shirt, black shorts, black shoes. And again, the height could be, he's more of a match of anybody. And they can see his gait, meaning the way he walks, because he's on live video going into shell. This man is substantially closer to porch guy's general body type than Barnett is. That does not mean he's porch guy, but wouldn't it be cool? And they have arrested him. So once they get him in, I bet you that they're going to be looking at everything. They're going to get his DNA. They're going to download his little cell phone, his car, wherever. Where was he on January 11th, the 31st? Did he know Barnett? I don't know what that. Did he own an Ozark Trail backpack? Are they going to go to his house and search it? Probably. I bet they do. And you never know. If these guys travel together like birds of a feather, could he maybe know something? Because, there have been ex-cops, like police off the cuff, that said one of the first things he would have done after Nancy was he would have gone into the jail and started talking to people. And I'm not sure if you guys know this, but in jails, in prisons, they have decks of cards. And each card, instead of it being like the 7 of diamonds, what they do is they have a mugshot and a name or whatever, a crime, a charge of a criminal that is wanted on each card. So they've got 52 cards. And what they do is they hand out the cards, decks of cards, so people can play cards in jail. And then as people come in, it's like, do you know anyone? And, these guys are more than happy to start squealing. The first who squeals deals. All right. And people are not afraid to, if they can get a lighter sentence. Moon Wolf, or Wolf Moon. I'm sorry. That was very rude. Wolf Moon. Thank you so much for the jewels. Bling, bling. Thank you for the sparkles. Kraft says, Crime Crunchy, when you do check them against these gloves and what A&T's neighbor said about the hammering and banging away going on in the shed. That's very interesting. The neighbor did say that they could hear when Tommaso and A moved in, there's a little shed out back and there'd be some like puttering, some hammering, some, stuff going on. So this could be interesting or it could be nothing. All right. But it is, and again, we're all hanging on a thread here. Amanda, thank you for the jewels, bling, bling. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I'm so humbled when you guys do things like that. I will post this comment. Hey, Lisa, I saw early on that people said they were going to make their casita bigger for Nancy to move in. That would be great, right? If we talk about monks and this subject, monks had a video where in his culture, it's very common for people to live together and take care of their elderly. And Nancy has a 4,000 square foot home with a pool, which would be perfect for Olmo, had a casita. And if, the whole idea was that, we were talking also about how in March 2025, A&T moved from a small home that they sold for $379,000 and had a lot of equity in it. And they turned it over, and then they bought a $650,000 house that has a $355,000 mortgage. Why not just bank that equity and have moved in with Nancy if they're the caregivers? And that's a really good point. She's 84. That house is big. It's like, I think he said it was 5 bedrooms. Has a pool, which is perfect for the kid. Why wouldn't they just move in with her? I'm getting off topic here, but it's a good question. Yes, he needs to squeal. He who squeals deals. And if he knows something, now's a really good time to talk, guys. So if he was just brought in today, they have a vehicle. Chances are they're not connected. I mean, Tucson isn't the biggest city, but it's not the smallest city. There's a lot of gangs. There's a lot of it's not like there's only, 100 people who do violent crime in Tucson. Okay. But you just never know. And all they need this last 6 months, all they said was they just need one crack. They need one break. And the whole thing, all the dominoes fall into place. And you just don't know. Why were 4, 5, or 6 dudes up at 5 a.m. breaking into, I don't know if it's a home or an apartment, but 2 23-year-olds that are corrections officers. And I can tell you, my son-in-law, before he became an Oklahoma County Sheriff deputy, he was a corrections officer at the Oklahoma County Jail. And unfortunately, they do not pay them very well. And you got 2 corrections officers with a small child. They're 23, so the child cannot be more than, less than 5 years old. Okay, just guessing. In daycare and or going to school, kindergarten or preschool or whatever, and pregnant. Again, what do they have to rob? They're working for the corrections. They're getting drug tested, so they're not drug dealing. Okay, what's there to rob? So again, I feel more like this could be something connected to something happening in the jail. And he was getting out. He was going to go into the police force. So is this a timing thing? And why shoot her? They didn't shoot the kid. Hopefully the child was in another room asleep. Hopefully. They didn't even know there was a small child there. Thank God. What a nightmare. But they still shot her, and she's clear. 31 weeks, you're pregnant. They're probably in bed, but I don't know what time their shift was. They might have been getting up. Banana Grana, did they get inheritance? I don't know that they've done, they haven't released a victimology at all about these people, other than the fact that, they have a law enforcement background and future. So I feel so sorry for the female that was shot. She just lost her partner, her children's father. It's horrible. And I'm going to share something personal because I understand trauma. I mean, I really do. I was talking about my son-in-law who was Oklahoma County Sheriff deputy. He was a school resource officer, and he was killed in March of 2023. And so that's why I can understand a lot of the feelings that Savannah has. When I say hurt people. He wasn't with my daughter anymore, but he let me co-parent with his son, who baby Crunchy, who I have now. And it was at night, and he had been a school resource officer, and he was working a basketball game and was leaving, and the pole gates, who swing out like this, long pole gates, one of them, usually when the cars are leaving, they're closed or pulled open to the side, but this one was kind of out, and he didn't see it because it was dark, and it went through the windshield, and his car kept going, and it crushed him. And so the trauma is unreal. And yeah, it's I mean, unbelievable what this poor woman is going to be going through now, and the family and everything, just to have some. There's Zosha. Hi, Zosha kitty. I'm Zosha kitty. I'm the crime fighting kitty. Go on, Zoshi. So I get it. It happens. You just don't know. So, all right, changing the subject. So the Acura drop-off suspect. This is the hardest one to evaluate because the available imagery is substantially worse. He's the man PCSD says was captured at approximately 10:50 a.m. August 19th, exiting the vehicle believed involved in the Ramirez homicide. Okay. So obviously they have cameras. They knew what car, so they must have had witnesses. Hey, Joan, trauma is something we never get over. My sister witnessed my father shooting and killing my mother, and a few years later, when he was released from prison, I witnessed my father dying in our house fire. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Joan. And I'm not trying to bring it down, and Joan, I know you are, but these things happen. This stuff happens. And I'm so sorry for you, Joan. And thank you so much for sharing. I mean, seriously, it's hard to be vulnerable and share. It takes a long time. Yeah, it reminds me of Josh and his experience. Exactly. His father just got paroled. Josh, over at the lab, his father killed his mother in front of them when he was young, and his dad spent all these years in jail, and Josh would go every year to the parole hearing and beg the parole board not to let his father out. And this last time they did, they let him out. And that's a whole other, in my mind, I'm thinking that is a whole other trauma. So thank you so much, Joan, for, yeah, you know what, it's a club you don't ever want to be in, when something like that happens, but it definitely makes you appreciate things a lot more. Absolutely. And it makes me kind of understand human reactions a bit more, which is kind of my angle on this show, whether you wouldn't know it or not. But my whole angle is, looking at things from an empath's lens and looking at emotions and, why people react. So I might not be coming up with, maps and doing maps and things. I mostly kind of talk about emotions and why people, react the way they do. But anyway, so, all right, we're going to turn that frown upside down. We're going to keep going because we're here for Nancy. And so the Acura drop-off suspect, reporting says he appears to be wearing a sleeveless shirt, but this guy, I think he has gray hair, I think. I'm not sure. So I might be messing that up. Okay, so male, yes. 5'9", we don't know. Build is average. Possible gait observable, yes. Tucson connection, yes. Dark clothing. which, that doesn't have anything. They could change their clothes. Arm build visible, limited, yellow is a color they're doing. Face comparison, impossible, and poor imagery, home intrusion, alleged home invasion. So I don't know, but like I said, I bet you anything. Once they get all these guys in, they're going to be. I hope this guy got a good night of sleep last night, because they're going to be interrogating him for hours and hours and hours. Hopefully he asks for like a Wendy's burger or something, because he's going to be hungry. They're going to have him in there for so long. The behavioral overlap interests me more than their faces. Here's where this gets genuinely worth watching. The Ramirez attackers reportedly arrived dressed in all black and ski masks. I did not know that. Did anyone know that? Oh boy. Now put the two crimes next to each other. Nancy's case. Night/early morning operation. Hey, Wolf Moon, that's wonderful. I love that. Yes, we feel things. We can feel things from people. Night, early morning operation, residential target, masked man, dark clothing, gloves, handgun, surveillance awareness, victim removed. There was recon. Okay, that was Nancy's case. So with Ramirez, this is what we know so far, and this is just breaking. So early morning operation, residential target, multiple men. We think so with Nancy too. Black clothing, ski masks, firearms. Hopefully they didn't do the crotch holster. Firearms, vehicle used, vehicle later abandoned. And see, here's the thing, if they can get that car, they can get these people. And because they got a car and they got it on camera, and it was probably light enough after the crime that they could get more information. If they had had a car in the Nancy case, things might be different right now. So Chad says, those aren't fingerprints. Plenty of armed home invasions share those characteristics, but there's a more intriguing question. Do these guys constitute a crew? That's potentially far more important than asking whether Barnett resembles Porch Guy. Again, birds of a feather. If Barnett is committing serious crimes with multiple accomplices, then we have evidence in August that he operates within a criminal network. And Sheriff Nanos has reportedly indicated investigators don't yet know whether there were more participants beyond the 3 publicly sought. And it's interesting, Nanos never once came out and said anything about a number of people involved in Nancy, has he? He's never once said, I mean, there's 3 guys that they believe for sure are connected, but why would he say that there might be a 4th, 5th, and a 6th guy? Now our Nancy question changes. Instead of is Alex Barnett Porch Guy, which I don't think matters. I don't think the appearance has anything to do with, I think, and I'll finish it. I'd ask, was anyone in Barnett's criminal orbit in January 2026 a 5'9" to 5'10" male of average build? Well, we already saw Shell Guy is, but it isn't even just that. It's who does Barnett know and what has Barnett heard? What has Shell Guy heard? These people talk. So Shell Guy is where I'd put the microscope. My preliminary ranking strictly for consistency with the public Porch Guy description. And again, I don't know that he's Porch Guy, but could they know someone connected to any of this is what the big question is. Number 1, Shell Station, unidentified man, Shell Guy, most physically consistent. Acura drop-off, unidentified man. Again, there's a car. It all leads back to the car. Joe has been really busy, so he hasn't been around, but he's the one who first started emailing me way back. He was like my first dude that came in regularly when I literally went live with 10 people. And Joe was like, got to look at the cars. There's something with the cars. Yes, there is something with the cars for sure. And if anyone knows, I love Coke Zero. Don't care underwear. I love it. Okay. It's my best friend. Hey, Wolf Moon. Daphne mentioned a 911 call of 3 guys wearing all black and ski masks stealing cars on night of Nancy's abduction. Really? Lisa, no, you're a Pepsi fan. No, Lisa, we can still be friends. You know what? We are all accepting here. We're all accepting of our beverage choice. Importantly, none has been connected to Nancy Guthrie by law enforcement that we know of. And hopefully, and again, they don't have to be, but have they heard something? And getting these guys these bad guys that obviously don't have any problem going in and shooting 2 young people, one of them pregnant. Okay, that is another level of evil. A woman who's pregnant, a child, or an old lady, that is a whole different level of evil. These people are just bad. So we can take the shell surveillance video, the Acura video, and the porch guy video and compare observable characteristics, blah, blah, blah. So I asked, could this murder be retaliation for the victim being a corrections officer? What is the most likely motive? And yes, retaliation because of Carlos Ramirez's former corrections work or his fiance's current corrections job is a plausible theory, but the evidence currently available points more strongly toward robbery, home invasion. Again, what do 23-year-old young kids with, what do they have to steal? Who knows? All right. So that's kind of the lowdown on what's going on. And again, number one angle is not necessarily could one of these gentlemen be porch guy. If he is, cha-ching, okay, awesome. I'm not so much thinking that one of them could be porch guy, but I'm thinking, is there any information they can glean from this gang of marauders? Okay. And that's what I'm hoping, that maybe the more bad guys that they pull in, that one of these days they're going to have that missing piece of the puzzle. And so that's what I'm hopeful. And so that's the one angle is, could they lead them to anything on Nancy? Now, the other thing is really in the title of today's episode, which is this man may make Savannah's wish for YouTubers to stop talking about Nancy come true. Well, let's talk about her post. Again, skipping to the bottom, where she says, we are real people facing real grief, doing the best we can and counting our many blessings along the way, most especially the prayers and love from good people, which we feel deeply. We need your prayers. We need your kindness. We need the good to be stronger than the evil. This is where we start. If you are following this story for entertainment or for profit, you are not on her side. You are part of the harm perpetuated against her. So, Courtney, what does that have to do with this story? Well, think about what is going on since Wednesday, August 19th. Wednesday, August 19th. All hands on deck. We have a new horrible crime that has just occurred with a corrections officer, soon to be Tucson PD, a current corrections officer who's pregnant, who's been shot, thank God, going to live, and everyone's on a manhunt. And if there's 4 or 5 or 6 guys, anybody who was working on Nancy's case, at least on the Pima County side, is probably not working on the Nancy Guthrie case in the last 3 days, or probably the next week or two, because guess what? As time passes, new cases come in. And yeah, it's a task force. But if they have now put the best and the brightest homicide guys on Nancy, and that's apparently what we've been assured, is that they now have really good homicide trained guys on Nancy and the task force, and the feds, the feds are probably still doing their job. But again, this is just a sign of things to come. We're 6 months in to Nancy being gone. And yeah, they have leads, but are they good leads? What are they working on? Are they waiting for new technology with DNA? Are they doing anything? I can 100% guarantee you that all the homicide guys are now on this blue alert, and no one's looking at Nancy. So as Savannah sits here today, and as she gets any updates about what's happening in Tucson, is she sitting there thinking, oh crap, they're not going to work on my mom's case, at least for a while. And then in a month or two, is there going to be another horrible crime that happens? Eventually it does. Yeah, Nancy's file just got pushed back again. Oh, and guess who 857's talking about? Guess who? Probably DaJuice and all those guys. If you go to any of their, Daphne, go to any of their channels. Are they talking about Nancy today? Nope. Is anyone watching them for entertainment? Nope. Is JLR making gobs of money about Nancy today? Nope. They moved on. And they won't forget Nancy, and we won't forget Nancy. But Savannah, darling, we're evil. And again, like we talked about the other night on Patriot Pride, if any of you, went and watched that episode the other night, near the end, Jennifer from Thornbridge X Unfiltered called in, and then me and my big mouth, I had to call in. And they started going live at 9 p.m. and we were on with Adam and Mike until 12:45 a.m. and we were talking about something that I just forgot because the train left the station, because I have to elaborate so much and I don't know what we talk about. Something about something. I don't remember, but it was so important, you guys. Yeah, that's very late. Believe me, by 12:45 a.m., I was on my phone, called in, but I did not have my camera on because I was in my jams. I was ready to go to sleep. Yeah, choo choo. I don't remember what I was talking about. It's not a show until I forget. I don't remember. I don't remember what I was talking about. Let me just see if I can. The train will come back around, guys. Just bear with me. But ultimately, the point here is, oh yes, I remember now. See, the choo-choo came back. Choo-choo. Jennifer, she has reached out and she's done a lot. I mean, she actually did she gets really good people to come on her show and interview, like really good people. She did a episode early on about the Springfield 3, which is a story about a mother and her daughter's friend. They were in high school and all three of them just disappeared. The cars were left at the house and all their bags, their clothes were left there, blah, 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 in the house. And she got one of the girls' high school friends to come back on. And this was from 1992 that this happened. They still have no one charged. They've never found the bodies. And the high school friend is like, people forget. It is such a mystery. And people forget over time. And while we don't want to forget Nancy, and we are going to stay on the story, I can guarantee you in 10 years from now, we probably won't be talking about Nancy. Okay. And so there are people, again, who we've heard time and time again, who have missing loved ones that don't have contacts, that don't have resources, that don't have money, that worked 1,400 times as hard to find their loved ones than what we've seen so far. Our perception is of the Guthries looking for their mother, as far as just visible looking. Okay. And they would all kill to have YouTubers talking about their missing loved one. I mean, would do anything to have this visibility. And here is Savannah just spitting. And again, hurt people hurt people. She's in trauma. I can guarantee you she's probably in heavy therapy. She's still crying in the shower every dang day. Okay. It's going to take her at least probably 2 years before she has a day that she doesn't cry. Okay. It's hard. But at the same time, she needs to be aware that, yeah, if people are making money, what does it hurt her if JLR is making money and he's literally live streaming for 12 hours? I think that's the max. You have to turn off and then restart a stream. I think that's the max. Does anybody here care if 857 Tucson is making any money? I'm not making very much money at all. I don't have a big audience. I am almost to 15,000 subs. I have a full-time job. I cannot quit my day job. I would love to quit my day job and do this full-time, but I can tell you, and if you request FOIAs, it costs money. If you want to get copies of things, if all these YouTubers that pull documents, it costs per page, sometimes hundreds of dollars, especially if you're getting video. It's expensive. And so today, Savannah, these people who, I mean, it's crazy. The Sunday Guardian. Do you know what this article is? I'll read you the headline. Nancy Guthrie case, latest update today. Arizona desert search continues as investigator flags Annie's poetry dedication for Tommaso Cioni sparks online buzz. You know who the investigator that they're talking about? It's freaking JLR. Annie Guthrie's poetry gets new attention in light of ongoing conversations on the internet. The self-proclaimed investigator Jonathan Lee Riches, aka JLR, brought up the dedication contained in the poetry book titled The Good Dark, written by Annie Guthrie. The poem book is dedicated to Tommaso, and this refers to her husband, Tommaso Cioni. However, a literary dedication is not proof linking Cioni. Well, of course not, but he's doing what I was doing yesterday, and that is looking at the weird poetry. Okay. Looking. Oh, it's Jennifer. Yay. How did you heard me talking about you. I was just telling everybody about when we were on Adam's show till 12:45 in the morning. We were talking about how, you had done the Springfield 3 and how many people you've spoken with would kill. And I shouldn't say word, but they would do anything to have YouTubers talking about their mother. Well, today, if you go to 857 Tucson or you go to JLR, guess what? They're not talking about Nancy today. They're talking about this latest crime that has happened with the murder of a Tucson or Pima County. You do your laundry and you're going live tonight. Everybody knows you're going live tonight. And you guys need to check out TBX Unfiltered at 7 p.m. Central. She has a blood spatter and I will be on. She has a blood spatter expert. And I was telling them how you get great people on your show and you got the school friend of one of the girls that's been missing since 1992, no body, no charges. And Savannah, be careful what you wish for in your Instagram post about people perpetuating evil and making money. Who cares? If JLR, if this is his job, and JLR, love him, mediocre him, hate him, he has done some good boots on the ground. And apparently 857 Tucson was one of the first people at Nancy's house when this whole thing happened. And we've gotten such feedback from these guys about he found pants in a wash. Okay. So guess what, Savannah? Today, they're not talking about beautiful Nancy. And in a month or two, there'll be another story that takes, and all the homicide detectives that they just ramped up and got on the case, and they got the best of the best now working on Nancy. Guess what? They're not working on Nancy today. Since Wednesday, August 19th, they're not working on Nancy. They're working on this case. They're hunting down 4, 5, or 6 guys. And maybe in, 6 months, while we still might be covering this, we might not be, guys. We may not be covering this. If there's something else that comes up that needs our attention because people have stopped, slowed down on Nancy, we have no idea what's going to happen that we end up taking on. It's like, help me help you, Savannah. Help me help you. So this is very real that, unfortunately, like the Springfield 3, in 30 years, will people remember Nancy if this case is not solved? And yes, Jennifer, I'm hopeful that they will. And at least they have a car and they can get DNA off the car. And what I'm hopeful, what we talked about a little bit earlier is, I'm hopeful that while these people that are affiliated with this shooting are probably not Porch Guy, although people have been, they were wondering if this guy, Shell Guy, who has been arrested, he has the same physical similarities as Porch Guy, probably not Porch Guy, but they might know something. They might have heard something. And now that they're getting them all in, again, he who squeals deals. And just like with what we think has happened with Derek Colella, is anyone really going to be bad if this guy gets maybe a slap on the wrist, but he reveals information that helps solve the Nancy Guthrie case? I'm not, it sucks, but this is just, it's like, let's make a deal. And even if these guys weren't involved with Nancy's case, there's probably some sort of, game of telephone or people talking. And I'm guessing that these people hang out in a group where they probably feel pretty safe talking about kidnapping an old lady and killing her. I'm just going to guess. These people probably have no problem smoking dope, sitting around, or dealing drugs, sitting around and talking about so-and-so who knocked off the old lady, who's Savannah Guthrie's mother. They just went in and shot a 23-year-old woman who's 31 weeks pregnant. They don't give a crap about an 84-year-old woman. Hell no. Yeah, they're good. This is just regular conversation. This is just, trading notes. And like I said, the deck that they give people in jails and prisoners, the deck, Crime Junkie Ashley Flowers actually has another podcast called The Deck. And what she does is she goes through each card and she talks about the case, because these are 52 people. They put their mugshots and they put the crime that they did and any information about them, their name, on the back of a card, instead of like the 7 of diamonds or the 8 of clubs or whatever. And on the deck, while the prisoners are playing cards, they look at them. And again, as new people come in and out of the jail, they're like, oh yeah, I know this dude. And then what do? They put their roller skates on and they go zoom right up to whoever they need to talk to. And then they squeal for a deal. And yeah, if this is a porch guy, you think he's first in on this crime, this is his chance. Everybody has said, if there's more than one person with Nancy Guthrie, now is your chance. This is the best deal you're going to get. This is the best time to go in, turn yourself in, get an attorney, turn yourself in, tell everything you know, and work a deal. It's business. So if these guys know anything, now is a great time. And so that's really what I'm hoping, that this, while there's probably no connection, maybe there's information. I love that, Chickles. He's somebody's porch guy. This wasn't his first crime. Exactly. They've been porch guy. Probably many times they've been porch guy. And the other connection is, if Savannah is watching what's happening today. Hey, the real Italian true sleuth. Good day to you. Boo-boo-boo. J-Dub. Yes, 355. Let's hit that. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. But maybe Savannah is going to think about what she wrote. Or maybe she won't. But maybe she's going to just go, oh, wow. What if they stop looking for Nancy? And she goes, what if they stop talking about Nancy? Because so far, Savannah has been so lucky because of her celebrity that everybody has gotten so interested. And yeah, the scrutiny is on her family, and that's negative. But guess what? People are still talking about the case. And sometimes negative press is good press. I'm pretty sure John Bonet's father knew he was a suspect and said, I don't care. That's fine. People can look at me, but hopefully they're still talking about it, right? At a certain point, if people are accusing you of being the suspect and you're not, you should be sleeping fine. Why hide? If you know you're innocent, does it really matter what people are saying? As long as, your life isn't being interfered with, or you're not in danger. And hopefully, I pray that's the case for A&T. But who really cares? As long as people are talking about the case, that's half the battle, right? So I wanted to show what craft eccentricity. Oh, and yes, I see your comment here. The real Italian, do you need my email? I will put it in the chat. It is very hard to remember. It is crimecrunchies@gmail.com. Crime Crunchies. You bet. All right. So Craft Eccentricity emailed these to me, and maybe nothing burger, but it's interesting. And we're all here. Let's take a look. So what Craft did was, how you flip the picture between, negative, and I don't know what it's called. but when you flip it from regular color to black and white or whatever, the negative. So she circled this glove, and you can't really see it here, but if you look at it right here, it does look like there could be, when I mentioned knuckle tats, I mean, are there symbols? Are there letters? And I think this one is a little bit easier to see. And I'm hoping that the FBI has seen this, but it does look like, I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, is it the light? But I mean, it looks like there could be letters. And I mean, it's very common for people to have knuckle tats. Invert. Yes, thank you. Invert. So Kraft inverted the photo, and you can kind of see, I think this one looks a little bit better than this one. I'll blow this one up too. But I'm sure the FBI has gone over all of these things, but it does look like there could be maybe, they assumed that there was more than one glove on, so that if, just not to get the DNA anywhere. But I don't know. And hopefully they've caught this. And if that's the case, then they can. So Joey, who's Joey? Is that the real Italian? But it's something to look at. Oh, the lab, Josh, on the lab. Okay. So anyway, Kraft, thank you for sending this to me. I'm not sure. It is hard to tell. It does look like there's something there. It looks like kind of like numbers, but it could be letters. And if he only has one glove on, I mean, I don't know if it would come through. Oh, I know who you're talking about, Elizabeth. And so what I need to do is, because we have people who are listening, like while they're cooking or cleaning. So when I read a comment, I read the comment out loud. So Elizabeth says, Joey's a frequent caller on the lab. I have heard Joey. He does. So I've called in the lab a couple times. And it's like, I pray that Joey isn't in front of me, because Joey will talk for a while. So it's funny how we all know Joey. And I think it's Joey from Brooklyn or something. He's got that accent. So Jackie says, like a skeleton tattoo on the hand. It could be. And let's hope that this guy really does have something like that. And I've not seen anyone talk about knuckle tattoos. So I'd say this is a really good catch. Is there a there? Hopefully they're on it. And if this person does have knuckle tats, then we can find you. Oh. It could be a reflection. It's hard to say. All right. Well, I just wanted to talk again today about the situation that's going on in Tucson. And again, my two angles are, can we get information from these low-life scumbags? And Savannah needs to understand that maybe just on the inside, she doesn't have to say she's grateful, but maybe on the inside, she might look at the YouTubers a little differently now. Because when all this hubbub goes away, she may look back and wish that she had all these people. She's not thanked anyone. She's not thanked the searchers. I don't think she's thanked law enforcement. I haven't heard her thank anybody, and that shocks me. I mean, they've not had one press conference, nothing. And again, she could be upset at the scrutiny her family is under right now, but even if They have nothing to do with this, which we all hope that they don't, because we don't need more trauma on the family. They're not acting right. The math doesn't math. Oh, and I have my note here. I'm giving away free memberships. 5 free memberships. So I'm going to give away 5 free memberships right now, you guys. Woo! You guys all here? If you are here, make sure you're subscribed and say something in the chat right now so that you are in for a free membership. So if you, only subscribers can comment. So I'm going to give it just a minute. So if you're watching, subscribe really quick and then get in the chat and say something, because I'm going to give away 5 free memberships. About every 2 weeks, I'm going to do some giveaways because I like giving away stuff. Yay. And maybe you don't have to say anything. I don't know, but I like seeing everybody say hi. Hi, everybody. I love giving away free stuff. And I know, Jen, you guys have Glenn's wheel of free stuff. I love that. Cracked me up. The wheel of free stuff. And then for all my members, while we're waiting for people to subscribe and just say hi in the chat, on the first of every month, I have member appreciation, where I have a spinny wheel and I put all active members in, and then we spin it. And it's a $20 Amazon or Walmart gift card. And you email me. I just need your email. I'll email it right back to you. I don't need your address or anything. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Thank you for the jewels, bling, bling. Thank you so much. Very generous. All right, let me get my little screen set up to do 5 free memberships. All right. Yeah, about every 2 weeks, I'm going to do some free memberships. And I think YouTube, Jen, I don't know if you've checked this, but if you go in when you're live, pull up your channel and then go into chat and then pull up like memberships, YouTube gives me 10 free to give out. Oh, thank you, Jen, for the jewels, bling, bling. Thanks for the Unk Alert. So Jen, go in tonight. If you're, whatever you're doing, go in and check, pull up your show on YouTube, mute it, and then go into the memberships, and it may tell you that you've got 10 free to give, because YouTube started a program where they're giving you so many free to give away. So, but I am paying twice a month. I will pay for 5 free. Oh, Glenn did that. Yeah, it's awesome. I love doing that. I love giving away free stuff. Okay, so if you guys are ready, I am going to pay for the memberships, and they should be coming out. They should be coming out now. Who's going to get them? Someone's going to get them. All right, we got Maui, Francesca, Hiker, Real Melody, Blue, D, awesome, yay. I wish it was more. Thank you so much, everybody. Congrats to everybody who got a free membership. Fun. And I think you guys got the complaint department manager. I've got 3 levels. I've got Zosha Kitty Friend, and then Cool Kids Club, and then complaint department manager. I think you guys all got complaint department managers. Congratulations. You are now complaint department managers. All right. It is. What do you get with the membership? So what I do for members, hi, Naples Realtor Pilot. This is Sissy. Everyone, it's Crunchy Sissy. Hi, Crunchy Sissy. So what I do with my members is I am taking videos that I've done live, and I am downloading them and re-uploading them with no ads. So if you have not caught a live, if you're a replay crew, and like the next day, you can watch the video ad-free. And sometimes that is worth the entire membership right there. You get shout outs. I'm working on figuring out if I have time to do member videos. I'm very busy. I do work a full-time job. I'm working on that. I will probably, when I get, well, I do the member appreciation on the first of every month for a $20 gift card. And then I will probably do, when I get to 20,000 subs, I'm thinking about doing a t-shirt giveaway. I need to figure out how that works because people don't like giving their mailing address. So, and I don't blame you. So I'm figuring out a way to do that. And I do have a store. So maybe what I'll do is I'll figure out if I can do a code for some giveaway, some random drawings where you guys can go in and do a code and get like a free t-shirt or something. That might be the safest way for everybody's privacy. I respect your privacy. Congratulations, winners. Now, here's the big deal. First of all, hi, Crunchy Sissy. It's 5:50 p.m. Central. At 7 p.m. Central, make sure to check out Thornbridge X Unfiltered tonight. Jen, the beautiful Jen, and her husband Glenn have a blood spatter expert on tonight, and they're going to talk about the blood. And we need to hear more about it because I'm not convinced that that couldn't have been staged with some sort of a squirty thingy. Okay? Squirt, squirt, squirt. Now, I'll be back. Somebody asked me to continue talking about the creepy poetry, comparing the writing in the poetry with the note number 2. And I may dive back into that. I am inviting Boomer back for a simulcast. So working on some stuff. You guys. All right, please check out TBX. Looks like people are going to be heading over there. I love it. We're all supportive of each other. We support each other. Happy dappy do. I hope you all have a great Saturday. How much fun is it still being Saturday? I will catch you all in the chat on TBX tonight in just an hour. Good luck, Jen and Glenn. We will see you there shortly. Other than that, hit the like, the subscribe, the bell, so you know when I'm going live again. I will catch you on the flip side. And to da-aloo, doodaloo, beep, boop, boop, boop.